I mean, y'all already know what it is. They do. What they do, what they do, what they do, what they do. Hey, what's happening? Y'all know we live, we back off in it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what it is, man. Y'all already know. Y'all read the description of this live. Yes, I told y'all I will be putting it out there. And this is what we're doing. Sundays, we dropping free game. Free game on the credit. Free game. They ain't gonna get no better than this. You know what I'm saying? I'm obligated to do this. Oh, we got 147 people. Listen, appreciate y'all, man, for jumping on. Hit that share button, man. Trying to change lives and help people get right. You get what I'm saying? I'm finna bring my partner, man, the CEO of Real Credit Deal. I'm finna bring him on live and let him speak to y'all. Now, we're going to do a Q&A, right? We're going to do a little Q&A, and y'all can ask y'all questions, you know what I'm saying? And he'll answer them. But I want y'all to listen to what he got to say to help people get a better understanding of credit and how credit goes. So I'm finna bring him on live. We ain't even finna waste no time. We finna get right to it. You get what I'm saying? Hope y'all doing good on this Sunday. Let's do it. What's up, my boy?
What's good, man?
I see you.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's all love on this end. You already know. It's all love. So, hey, before we go any further, do what I want you to do, bro. Like, honestly, just introduce yourself, man. You already know. Tell them who you is or what you know. What they about to witness right now. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, co-founder with Real Credit Deal, guys, and just giving you a quick backstory about myself. I'm married with 2 kids, and a couple of years back, I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, I went through some situations with my living situation. About 5 years ago, I was actually homeless, and I found out that it was very hard for me to get a place to stay. I went to an apartment, and they told me if you got more than 2 heartbeats in this apartment, man, we're gonna have to look at your credit your credit has to be a certain point. Now, I didn't really understand what credit was all about, so I just started to say, you know what, let me go ahead and find someone who can help me to get this fixed. And I remember me and my wife going through different individuals, and remember sitting down with certain people that owned credit repair business, and they were charging arm and a leg, man. I was hearing prices $2,000, $1,500, $500 a month. The prices was up there, and it came to a point where I was like, you know what, enough is enough. And that time really came when I actually went to purchase a vehicle. I'm not sure how many of you actually went to purchase a car before, and they hit you 1 or 2 things: you denied, or you got to put a hefty amount down. So that was my situation. I found out that I had a 492 credit score.
Right.
And that was my highest score, bro. So my highest credit score is a 492.
Hey, that's like not to cut you off, but that's how they graded, right? A, B, C, D.
You're right, and F. So I was literally at F, man, F plus, right? So I was looking at that credit score, and I remember going into that dealership, man, and that dealer told me, hey, listen, if you can't come up with $5,000 to $10,000 down today, you're not going to be able to get this car. I'm thinking to myself, like, if I got $10,000 extra, man, I'll just go ahead and buy me a secondhand vehicle, and I'm good.
Right.
So it really hit me at that point, because I felt that I'm failing my family at this point. I'm unable to get a vehicle, so I'm taking a bus. I'm unable to get another apartment to change my zip code and put my kids in a better school. And so for me personally, I was just feeling like I was failing, but because of the person I am, the mentality that I have, I'm not a quitter. So I said to myself, I'm really going to study this thing. I'm going to find out how I'm going to be able to get my credit higher. And I went to work, man. Just like I was in college, and when professor put those information I want to study, man, I went rhino mode, man, just locked in on credit. And I studied it. I went, took in as much information as possible, put money out that I didn't even have to learn it, because I was just adamant about making a curve and a change in my family situation. And you know, in about 7 months of actually building and growing that knowledge base and applying it to myself and so forth, my credit score went from literally in that 400 category, and it jumped over 256 points.
Right.
Now, I understand that it takes time to build credit. So to be honest with you, in the first 2 months when I wasn't seeing much results, I was like, man, is this thing working? You know what I mean? But nonetheless, I just said, you know what, I got to keep going forward. I got to keep going forward. And, you know, boom, 256 points later, I was now with a 700 plus credit score. I started to become more engaged on how to now maintain this credit score. Because I learned throughout my journey that just because you have that credit score doesn't mean you reached anywhere yet. Now you got to be able to understand the portfolio of how that credit report is built.
Right.
So that led us, my business partner and I, to create this entity. It was Real Credit Deal, because we want to now give back to the community. We want to realize that there are people like us that have been in our situation that need help.
Right.
That don't, you know, may not have the finances to pay, you know, a couple $1,000s up front to fix your credit, or may not even have the time to go and to be educated or educate themselves about how this works. So we took the time to put something together so our community can learn while they're getting this process done at the same time.
Right. Okay, definitely. So today, I guess you're gonna be dropping a couple of nuggets on them, you know what I'm saying, about credit, you know what I mean? And before we start, give them the five pillars of credit. What are the 5 things that make up credit score and the whole, you know, the whole thing of the...
Absolutely. So credit is based on a various amount of things. Now, here's the thing. There are 5 principles that breaks down your credit. No matter where you go, what you do, how you do it, you will always find yourself into these situations with these principles. Now, if you understand, or when you understand how these work, then you're going to put yourself in a positive mental position to track and know what's going on with your credit. First and foremost, no one should ever not have a credit monitoring system to follow and track your credit. There's so many different things that can happen. Identity theft, something can pop up on your credit, and then next thing you know, because you're not tracking what's going on with it, you're ready to purchase that home, that car, or make that big business investment, and now you have all these things on your credit that you wasn't even following along with. So the 5 pillars, guys, are called, let me write them down real quick.
Right.
So the 5 factors that builds and governs our credit, let me tilt this up, are payment history. Right? So payment history is the biggest chunk of our credit report. The reason why it's the biggest chunk of our credit report is because it dictates 35% of our payments.
Right.
The credit bureaus realize that, hey, listen, there's a lot of people that's not going to make their payment. Let me come on this side. There's a lot of people that's not going to make their payments on time. So if we give you a responsibility to pay this bill off, right, and you're not paying that every month, then we're going to hit you with your late payment.
Right.
Right. Now, what late payment pretty much says to other lenders or other banks, and when they look at your credit profile, is that this person wasn't responsible enough to take care of that payment. You know, and if you have a large amount of late payments, now that hurts you.
Right.
Okay. It can take one late payment can drop your credit score anywhere from 50 to 100 plus points.
Right.
Now check this out. This happens in 30 days. So it blows my mind, Pop, because it can take us months to years to build our own credit.
Right.
To get it from the lowest point to a point where we can say, okay, now we're good. Let's say we're in the 700s. And just by one faulty decision, you can lose up to 100 points in 30 days.
Right.
So all that hard work just left you.
Right.
Right. Now, one thing that I've always emphasized when it comes to payment history is to save some money up, put some money in a reserve.
Right.
Because situations will always happen. A lot of times outside of our own circumstances. So I always recommend that we put aside 15 to 25% or more based on what you can afford out of each of your earnings.
Right.
So if you get, $1,000 this week for your pay, take 15 to 25% out of that. Something that's not going to hurt you too much. Take that money out and put it in a reserve. Each week or month that you keep putting that money aside for a rainy day in this emergency fund, when something does happen like COVID, it was unexpected to us. So most people with all their responsibilities, their mortgage, their car payment, and so forth, they fall into a trap pretty much. They fall into a situation where now they can't afford to pay that car note. So because they can't pay that car note and they have the 700, 600 plus credit score, they just lost 35%. But if you had something saved up in a secure fund, now you can go ahead and dip in that bank or that reserve and allocate to those responsibilities.
Facts.
All right. Now, that leads us into the next factor. So payment history, always pay your bills on time. That's pretty much what it boils down to. The next factor is called credit usage.
Credit usage, credit utilization.
All right. Also known as credit utilization.
Facts.
Now, credit utilization is worth 30% of our credit report.
Right.
And I said credit reports, guys, because the score comes after the report. See, when you have a good flow of payment history, when you have a good flow of credit usage based on how you're utilizing your credit, then that's what builds the score.
Right.
Our FICO score, right? Fair Isaac Corporation goes from 300 to 850.
Right.
So when with your credit score being 300 to 850, 850 means that's your brim. You can't go any higher than that. No one should be here. And if you are here, we're here to help you, right? Now, your credit usage, aka utilization, means that of any credit limit that you have, you never want to go outside of 30%.
Right.
See, the moment that you go outside of 30%, your score is in trouble. And actually, depends on how much you use, you can lose anywhere from 30 to 100 plus points.
Right.
And that all happens in 30 days.
Right.
Right. So how does your credit utilization really work? You see, what happens, let's say we have $1,000 credit card. Okay. And of this credit card that we have, we don't want to use more than 30%. So $300.
Mm.
The moment that you use $301, your credit score will short. It's not an if, but it's going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client once where his father used his Target credit card. He went $1 over the 30%, $1. The score dropped 29 points.
And this is something they don't tell people.
They're not telling you.
Now, this is why this is so important. And also, we got it to where we can show people, like, if you got a certain limit on your credit, we'll let you know exactly what you can and can't spend, so you stay within good standing. So go ahead.
Exactly. So of that $1,000, you shouldn't use more than 30. I would say we shouldn't use more than what we can afford to pay back.
Right.
So let's say that you have to use $200 at that card. That's now 20% of that 1,000. So you use your 200, but only use it when you know, okay, my pay is going to come around next week and I have the amount to pay it all back. Mm-hmm. See, even if you can't pay it back to zero, keep it between that 0 to 10% threshold.
Right.
The lower your credit score is, the better it will become for you, because now you're not playing catch up to try and pay that bill back off.
Right.
So another thing with credit usage is that it's a huge chunk of our credit report, 30%. So it can literally have the ability to hurt your credit or build your credit.
Right.
Another thing with utilization is that it's the single most powerful way of building our credit.
Right.
There is nothing in the world of credit that can build your scores as fast as a credit utilization. And I'll get to that in a few minutes as far as why that is. All right. Now, outside of credit utilization, the next factor is, and by the way, just check this out real quick. We got 35 and 30. That's 65% of your credit utilization, of your entire credit. Right down there. Just these two factors is 65%. See, we were not taught this in school.
Right. Facts.
I got a 6 and a 9-year-old, man. I teach them about this, and they know more about credit than I ever knew when I was their age.
Facts.
You know, so if we don't have these two pillars or factors straightened out, how can we expect to get 700-800 credit score?
And again, this is something they don't teach us. Just to put your mind frame in what you got to do to protect your credit. Because like I say, at the end of this tunnel, there's great things that can happen. Like a lot of people done went from being poor to using credit to become financially stable out of the, I mean, far beyond than what they can imagine, just using other people's money. But go ahead.
Awesome. So just off of these two, man, 65% of our credit makeup. Now, the next factor of building perfect credit is called credit history. Man, check this out. See, we have history in everything. A lot of us got history with, you know, husbands, wives, you know, children, parents, you know, grandparents. We all have history to some way, some form. We also have history in our credit.
Right.
Now, here's something crazy. This is worth 15% of our credit report.
Right.
So 15% of our credit history is based on what type of relationship we actually keep with any lender or bank.
Right.
Check this out. When I built my credit up to that 766, lowest was a 728 status.
Right.
I wanted to try and upgrade my wife's ring at the time. You know, I went to K Jewelers, man, walked in with my chest high. You know, I'm feeling a little good. About to go ahead and, you know, put this ring on the finger. Now, when they told me that I couldn't get accepted, I'm like, hold up, listen, I got a 700 plus credit score. I pulled my phone out, pulled Experian up, and I'm like, listen, this is what my credit score looks like.
Right.
Why in the world y'all can't get me qualified?
Right.
The jewelers, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't understand that wasn't their world. They just knew that, okay, you come in, we run your numbers, you get approved or you don't. That's it.
Right.
So what I did is I went home and I started doing more research, started doing more understanding of what this is, why this happens. Because if it happens to me, then there's millions of other people out there that this is happening to as well.
Right.
So what I found out is that because of your credit history, you can have an 800 credit score, Pop.
Right.
If you have no history, no relationship with that bank or any entities, then you're a liable risk. They don't know how your money behavior is like. There's nothing they can use to track you.
Right.
So this is actually the most significant part of our credit.
Right.
Because it tells a story about how we use our money.
Right. Makes sense.
Right. So with credit history, to give you a short story, example, let's say that you and I have been best friends for 10 years. And I come across a tough time and I say, you know, I reach out and I say, hey, Pop, man, you mind if I borrow a few $100s? You know, I'll pay you back in X time.
Right.
Because of our relationship, you're more likely to loan me that money because you know I'm gonna pay you back.
Right.
But if I just met you off the street today and I say, hey, man, let me borrow a couple $100s, you might look at me funny twice before you tell me no.
Right.
Reason being, because you don't know if you're gonna ever get that money back.
Right.
Banks use that same principle.
Right.
See, the goal is to understand how they play the game because they're not teaching it to us.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
The Bible says, the lack of knowledge, my people shall perish. The more we do not know about a specific thing, especially when it comes to our money.
Right.
That's our livelihood. That's how we feed ourselves, our children. You know, that's how we create ideas to fund our goals. Like, if we don't understand how they're doing it, how do we expect our lifestyle to change?
Exactly. And and the thing about it, this is why it's so important, man. We come on here and we educate people on this because, like I'm telling you, if you utilize it right and do it right, man, you can use their money to do whatever it is you need done. Like, don't do what they do. Like, it's no secret. Like, you ain't got to sit and try to save up, and it's like paying bills every 30 days, trying to save a little, save a little, save a little. Now, if you do what you're supposed to do and you educated on what's going on with credit, man, you can walk in there in $100,000 loan like that. Like, we ain't even got to the we ain't even got to the meat and potatoes of it. You get what I'm saying? But just like letting people know, if you do it right, which is really nothing, man, you have to pay bills, you have to do things, every month. Just be able to know what you got to do so you can build your credit. And like I say, start a business. Like, don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even talking about trade lines yet. Like, that's another, but
it's another topic.
Yeah, man, go on to what you're saying, man. I just want them to know that it's some light at the end of that tunnel, man. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So right now, we just cracked 85% of your credit with just these 3 principles.
Right.
So keep in mind that the score comes after the report. And we got to make sure that we understand payment history. This need to be exceptional.
Right.
Credit utilization. Credit card is not bad. It's just how we use it, just like anything else.
Right.
Once you understand how to maintain this, you'll forever see your credit consistently increasing. And then you always want to keep something on the books. You need credit cards, man. Like, we got to have them. I mean, there's no way for us to really have that good credit if we don't have credit cards, if we don't have history, we don't have installment accounts. So that leads us into the next factor, which is called a mixture of credit or types of credit. So you might see it as types of credit or a mixture of credit. Now that's for 10% of our credit report.
Right.
See, a mixture of our credit is based on 2 factors. There's only two factors when it comes to types of credit. There's
credit.
Only 2. We have revolving credit.
Right.
And we have installment. Okay, installment loans. Right. So revolving credit and installment loans, what's the difference between the both of them? Check this out. Installment loans have everything to do with loans. Right. You can get qualified for a $200,000 student loan before you can get qualified for a $1,000 loan due to your credit. But nonetheless, a loan is a loan, whether it's a bank loan, whether it's a mortgage loan, or whether it's a car loan, they're all a factor of installment loans. Right. This is also the slowest way of building your credit. One of the reasons is because it's hard to have, let's say you have a $50,000 car loan, right? Mm-hmm. Now, it's hard to get that $50,000 car loan under 30%. You just got to ride through the time. Right. Right. But it's easier to get let's say out of $1,000 credit card, it's easier to get that revolving credit under 30% in a month because you're only using $300 of that card, right? Or less. Right. Now with the installment loan, even though it's hard, it takes longer to pay off, it creates a strong resume on your credit report. Right. Can you imagine having a car that you pay off or having a loan that you paid off in good standings? If it takes you 1 to 5 years, you done paid it off. Right. When you walk into another car dealership or you walk into a bank and you're trying to get a loan, when they look at your credit profile and they see you done had a good installment activity over those years, they're more likely to loan you more money. Facts. And what people got to understand too, the banks need people like us to find deals and do things so that they can make money. That's all this is about setting your mindset up. Like a lot of people have fear about credit and how it works. What we're trying to do is set your mindset up so now that you see how it goes, you can see how to play the game. And also one more thing, I'm gonna touch on for 1 second. Yeah. Debt ain't always a bad thing. A lot of the rich people get wealthy off debt. And you got to understand how that works. We've been taught that debt is a bad thing, and we try to. But if you know how to utilize it, and you knew that, hey, you can get a loan for $100,000,
put it in a business. If this business is cranking out 6,000, 7,000 a month, and to pay that loan off, just say you have to pay 2,000 a month back on that $100,000 loan, but you just bought a business that's bringing you 6,000, 7,000 a month. So what you do is you take the 2,000 out that 6,000, 7,000 you making, pay the loan off, and the rest of it goes in your pocket. You just made money off the debt. And you can go back and refinance that and bring that 2,000 down even lower to where you spending less money back on the debt and bringing in more money. See, they don't teach us this.
Absolutely, man. So that's powerful information in itself. You know,
Facts.
Good credit and bad credit. You just hit something that I definitely wanted to mention too. So you have good debt and you have bad debt. Some people, It's maybe an argumentative story for some people. They may say there is no such thing as good debt, but check this out. If you have a car payment and or anything that's associated to your credit and you paid it off in good standings, that's a positive debt. Right. See, you can have that car loan, right, an installment loan, paid off over after the past, 3 years that you have it. It's paid off, it's yours, or whatever the case may be. Now that loan is going to show up on your credit as a positive debt. Right. You don't want to remove anything that you paid off and close from your credit. If it's good, you're good. That's going to show that resume for you. So when other lenders are looking at your credit profile, they can see, okay, this individual then paid off a hefty loan and they paid off in good standards. Right. Right. And then you have bad debts. That's anything that you just didn't pay off. You went delinquent on it, whatever the case may be, but it went bad. Those are accounts that you need to get off of your credit. If you're not paying it, of course, because if it's just sitting on your credit, it's not doing you anything. Right. Right. Now, so installment loan, very, very important part of having your credit. Revolving credit, that has everything to do with credit cards. Period. Right. Revolving credit is credit cards as well as lines of credit. Right. So this is the most powerful way of building your credit. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's facts, right? You can have that $1,000 on that credit card, and with that $1,000, you can use any amount, preferably under 30%, but you can use any amount, pay that balance off, and you still have a full $1,000 to go again. Right. So that revolving door is always left open for you to keep using that money. Okay, on a month-to-month basis. The bureaus recommend that we have both of them. You can't have one without the other. You can't have a car, but you don't want to have a credit card. Right. And there are other methods of getting installment loans, because for some individuals, their credit might not be to the point where they can get an installment through a car or, things of that nature. But we do provide options of being able to bring in installment loans on your credit that will show as a positive or active account. Okay, that will help. So having the mixture, it really for them is to say, okay, they're able to now manage their money respectively over whatever time period that you have those accounts for. Right. Another thing too, when it comes to revolving accounts, never close a credit card. You would never want to close a credit card because that's like closing the door, closing the history on that bank or that entity. So anytime you open a credit card, your goal is to keep that credit card open indefinitely. Right. Now, if your interest rate is too high, this is what we're not being taught. You can always call that bank and negotiate. You can let them know, hey, listen, man, I started with you guys 2 years ago, a year ago, and my interest rate was 20%. And right now I'm looking at a better offer from another bank that's providing a better interest rate based on my credit. I'd like for you guys to bring that credit, that interest rate down from the 20% to maybe about 8% or so. Right. See, the thing is that we have the ability to ask for these things, but they're not. If you call your bank, you can have a million and one questions and they'll answer it, but they will never tell you, hey, this is what you need based on what we're seeing on your credit. Right. So you always feel free to contact your bank, let them know, hey, listen, I would like to lower my interest rate. Right. It's best to do that though when you have a positive status with them, or your account is in good standings. Just because you don't want to, trying to get an interest rate lower on something that's, delinquent, pretty much. right? So that leads us to the last factor of building credit. That last factor is also 10%. And this hurts a lot of people without them even realizing it. And this is called inquiries.
Inquiries.
The big old inquiries. That's where 10% of our credit as well. Now, inquiries by itself doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So what I mean by that is, if I call Chase right now and say, hey, I would like to increase my credit limit, or I'm trying to get a credit card, Chase is going to automatically pull my credit to see what my report looks like. Right. Or if I go online and I'm trying to buy something with my credit, they're going to pull my credit, because their goal is to see how your credit report looks like. Think of credit report as an adult credit card. So all of these factors we just covered through, they're going to see, how's his payment history?
Right.
Is it poor or is it exceptional? They're going to check, what's his credit usage? And have this person been going ham on, their credit cards and not paying it back?
Right.
Have they been using too much, 80% of their utilization, and not paying it back, or taking long to pay it? Another thing is, don't ever pay that minimum payment. That's a trap. Because every credit card is associated with the interest fee.
Right.
Now, if you're only paying $35 and you just use $200 and your interest rate is 20%, whatever amount that you've used, they're going to take that interest off. So if you pay $35 and the interest really comes to $50, I mean, you're not really paying $35 to the debt.
Right.
So then in your mind side and eyesight, it's like, man, I can never pay this thing off paying minimum payments.
And that's why.
That's why, because everything has an interest rate.
Right.
The goal is that we pay less interest to the bank so we can keep more money.
Even child support grows interest.
Gosh.
Well, go ahead, man.
Now, with inquiries itself, again, they're taking a few points off of your credit. It's normally single digits, but depends on the entity that you're applying for. It can be double digits that it hits your credit. But how that inquiries become detrimental to your credit is when you start applying multiple times. You want to discover denies you. Now, mind you, your credit score is not going up every time you apply. So Discover realized, there's something on his credit that doesn't really pan out for us. So we're going to decline this offer. Then that person may go to Chase. Chase denies you. Then you may go to 4 different banks to try and see if you qualify. But every time you do that, your credit score is going down. Because they're taking a point or more away from you, simply because they have to now check and see if you qualify. Okay.
And it also makes people seem desperate.
It also makes people seem desperate. So in their eyes, man, this person is going too hard for this credit cards. So they must be desperate. And if you're too desperate for something, normally you're going to put yourself in a position where you can't get out of it. And the banks see this multiple times, regardless if we like it or not. They've seen this ample amount of times. So they've set boundaries in line to take away from us. Right. Now, with inquiries, what I've seen happen most than everything else is when you go to a car dealership. And I got car dealer friends, man. Shout out to every car dealer, individuals. But the thing is that everyone got to eat. They got to feed their family too. But they only work for that company.
Right.
So when you go to a car dealer, that car dealership have businesses in line. They have lenders in line.
Right.
Now, they may have their own primary lender that they work with, but when you go through that lender may not qualify you. So let's say they have 10 lenders total, but that first one denied you. And they push it through maybe the other, the rest of those lenders. Let's say that you're losing 5 points each time that they run your credit to see which lender qualifies you. By the end of that situation, you just lost 50 points.
Right.
Now, even though it's not a whole bunch of points, I mean percentage, but everything multiplies do grow.
Facts.
So if they're taking away 50 points just because they pulled your credit 10 times to see if you qualified with 10 different lenders. I mean, you just did yourself a disservice.
For real.
And
And
if
they
that
not gonna tell you.
huh?
And they not gonna
And
tell you
I'm
that.
not gonna tell you, man. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of them don't even know about credit themselves. You know, they just
Right.
work for the dealer. But
Right.
you know, with that being said, we recommend that while working on your credit, don't apply for anything, because 90% of the business or lenders out there is going to check your credit, see if you qualify.
Right.
Okay. And if you just going out there blind and applying for things, you're going to see more decrease than you see increase.
Right.
Okay. So now this covers 100% of our credit portfolio. So we understand how credit works in a whole. We'll get to understand. Well, sorry, if we understand how these work, we'll get to understand how our credit works in a whole.
Right.
Make sense? Right. So if you know, this is something that we educate our customers on. We
Right.
educate you through an analysis of how these factors work in its details. We look at your credit report and see, okay, what's happening with your credit, because each person's credit is different than the next.
Different. Right.
You can almost say your credit is almost like, you know, your social. It's
Right.
the identity is completely different. Right.
Facts.
And just one more thing to touch on too, because I get this question a lot. Why are the three bureaus' credit score different?
Right.
That's a question that just trumps a lot of people. And the reason being is when the credit bureaus, all right, think of it this way. Everyone has an affiliation with one of the bureaus. Mortgage companies does, car dealers does, credit cards, and so forth. Now,
Right.
each bank partners with one or two of those credit bureaus.
Right.
So if I go to Macy's and Macy's offers me a credit card and I take it, Macy's may be a partnership with Equifax.
Right.
So when I do that report, that pull, and they pull my credit, remember that increase is going to hit me. So
Right.
Macy, you know, and Equifax partnership just dropped my credit score, even if I got approved. It may be 1-2 points, but now my credit score dropped.
Right.
So let's say if I have a 700 across the board and I just lost 5 points on Equifax, I no longer have the same credit scores across the board.
Right.
And then you go to different dealers or different companies and apply for credit cards. Every time that they pull your credit, it's going to drop your score because of those increase. So now your
Right.
credit scores are all looking different.
Right.
That's why we see our credit score looking completely different than the next one. All right. But yeah, that concludes our factors about, you know, how to build a perfect credit score. And guys,
Right.
please, I promise you, if you study this stuff, if you understand, if you come into our program and we teach you this stuff, don't take it lightly or for granted, because literally the way and the shape of how the economy is moving, everything is coming down to credit.
Credit.
They may have this cool slogan that says cash is king, but come on, credit creates authority. It creates opportunities. And the more you understand about it, the more you're going to learn how to maintain it. So that's something
Right.
that we teach into our program to make sure that each and every one that gets involved knows how their personal credit works.
Right. That's definitely a lot of information that you ain't finna get nowhere. And also, let them know how much it is to, like, if you ready to come in today. Like, we've done the specials, got a lot of people into the program. But if they want to come in today, how much is it today to start?
Man, it's only $214.98 to get started.
Right.
$214.98 to get your credit situated, to get a concierge customer service, to get, you know, pretty much tailored, you know, credit building strategies and what to do and how to do it, and $114.98 a month to maintain the services you needed. Hey, listen, man, we got cable bill that's over $200 a month. We got light bills over $400 a month. I mean, we can be able to minimize a lot of those expenses to allocate to things that's going to be able to knock off thousands of dollars off of your credit report.
Yeah.
I remember one of our clients that last year we had knocked off $100,000 tax lien off of his credit, and he went to buy a Maserati. That's what he wanted. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is that for just a small price, we were able to get $100,000 off of his credit report.
Right. Priceless. And not only that, like I tell y'all, like, I got with the company, got behind them because of what they did for me. I was referred to them the same as we referring y'all. Like it's the same thing. So when I saw what happened to mine, I'm like, it's never happened to me before. Like I say, I don't, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. I ain't gonna waste my time or your time. And it's like, from day one, once I start getting behind it, man, the biggest change from people. We got so many different success stories. Like we do the testimonies every week. Like these people are literally putting their family in houses, putting themselves in cars, doing upscaling with their businesses. Like it's just people have this fear of credit because they don't know about it. I was the same way, but now that I know, now I think like a rich, you think rich, you know what I'm saying? So when you know, you got a different aspect and you can move differently. And these rich folks, I'm telling y'all, they is not gonna tell y'all this. They ain't finna tell y'all the game, and it's simple. Be able to use their money. This is how you can get into real estate. This is how you can get that food truck you want. Now, at the end of the day, whether you using credit or your money, whatever you put it towards, you got to do your due diligence if this is what you say you want to do. That's just that. You can't escape that. But here's a way for you to jump in, not have to go, not have to bust your ass, you know what I'm saying, 100%. Be able to do what you got to do. Go get that loan. Go get that food truck and and build your empire. Like, this is what they do. They use our money. So at the end of the day, we just teaching people how to go about it. Be able to use their money to acquire what it is you're trying to do in life. Like, don't just be that person and it's okay to work for somebody, but set yourself up to one day somebody's working for you, because the best thing in the world is employing somebody. But you don't want to work for nobody 40, 50 years, never meeting them. Like, that ain't what we're doing. But at the end of the day, you ain't finna get this information nowhere else. I'm gonna just say that.
So we hold everyone's hand coming through this program. If you ready right now, you're looking to make a difference in your lifestyle, man. Somebody right now is looking to say, you know what, I need to make a change. If you don't know how to make that happen, or you've been, trying yourself and been hitting the wall a little bit, and you're like, you know what, I'm ready to get a mentor, right? Everyone has a mentor, including myself. So, let us mentor you throughout this process. Let us help you towards getting this done, because on the other side of the unknown is your success. You've been through what you've been through already, and it's only fair for you to give yourself, your family, your loved ones, and even your future self, the honest discernment of actually getting to where you say you want to be. I've seen too much. I mean, I was a victim of this before, Pop, like where I used to, talk myself out of a deal. When I see something good, and my spirit within me is telling me, hey, listen, man, I need to take this action. But because I've never been there before, I talk myself out of it. We got to start doing that as a society. We got to start putting ourselves in a positive and a strong mental discipline to know, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do to get it. And you set up that action plan and you put that money forward to make it happen. Because if money is stopping you now, money's going to always be an issue later on in the future.
Facts.
Right. So I'm not going ahead and preaching, man, but the whole goal is that we're here to help the community. You have questions, feel free to send us a text message. We will be able to schedule an appointment with you at the number 754-755-9774. We're here for you. I mean, we're literally helping individuals and families to position themselves to be able to acquire what they want and need.
Facts. And like I say, man, ain't nobody gonna swoop in and save us, man. We grown. It's just time that we learn. That was the biggest thing. And like with everything, like I've always told y'all, ignorance is the most expensive thing in the world, man, because you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for it physically, emotionally, you're gonna pay for it financially. And ignorance just means I don't know. It sounds harsh. All it means is I don't know. So once you learn, you do your due diligence, you can move accordingly and you won't have that fear. I'm telling you, once you learn how credit goes and you won't keep going through that revolving door, trust me, man, you'll thank me later. Trust me. You'll thank me later. So that's just that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, want to go ahead and answer a few questions. If anyone have some questions they want to ask, we'll do a Q&A.
Yeah, we'll answer a few questions. Yeah, y'all just throw them up there. But I know one. I'm trying to think. Where was it? But yeah, if y'all got any questions, you know what I'm saying, put them up there. And but yeah, you got to know. You have to know, man. You have to do your due diligence, man. You know what I'm saying, and just know what it is you're getting into, so you don't be afraid or get taken advantage of. That's the same way I come from the music business, and we all know and heard all the horror stories of being in the music business of people just not knowing. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know, and when you don't know, you're gonna get taken advantage of. Okay, we got a question right here. What about trade lines? I guess he's asking, what are trade lines?
Okay, so we'll definitely get into trade lines just to get your question answered, Ryan. So trade lines falls under this category right here: credit utilization and revolving credit. So with trade lines, you have two types of trade lines. You have primary trade lines and you have authorized trade lines.
Right.
Now, each and every person should have a primary trade lines. Especially back in the days, AUs used to be a very big thing. I mean, still now, but based on how the FICO system is growing and technology and so forth, authorized trade line is still an impactful way of building your credit. But when it comes to primaries, that means that your name is on that. Okay, right. You can go and try and purchase something with an authorized user, and the underwriters are seeing, okay, this is an AU, but this person don't have anything primary for themselves. They don't have nothing in their own name. And that, right. Yes, it will build your credit up. Yes, it will give you the history that you need behind your credit, but primaries is where it's at. So we'd recommend secure credit cards starting off if you're starting to build your credit. Reason being is because you put your own money on that card. Now, right. How it works is I call it a hybrid credit card, because you literally put your own money on the card and utilize it. Keep it below 30% at all times. I don't recommend putting more than $500 on a secure credit card. Anywhere between $200 to $350 or $500. Reason being is you can't use more than 30% anyways. So right. It doesn't make sense to put thousands of dollars on a secure credit card when you can only use, preferably 0 to 10%. Okay. But yeah, we'll go into a whole section about trade lines, Ryan. What if you currently have?
Okay, hopefully that answers this question. We got Chocolate Diamond. She said, "What if you currently have car payments? Does it help in boosting credit score?"
Yes, car payments do help build your credit score. It's not as fast as revolving credit because it's an installment loan, which again takes longer times to pay off. But it does go towards helping your credit score increase. Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, definitely.
Hope that answers your question.
And I get an SC and put $100 in it. Let it sit for 6 months.
I like that question. Here's the thing. Most credit card companies, when you're doing the secure credit cards, they don't recommend anything under $200. So $200 and more would be an ideal number to work with, right? You can put a $200 credit card, $200 on a secure credit card, keep it below 30%. And next month, if you have zero credit limit, you might see a 100-point increase. You might see 50-point increase, Right. Again, the utilization on that limit is what really matters. Now, letting it sit for 6 months is not a way of doing it, because you want to show activity on the card. Most banks are their guidelines are between 4 to 6 months. Every bank's different, but what we recommend is to keep activity on that card every month, or at least every quarter. This way, the banks realize, okay, this person is actually using their credit card, and they won't close it. Any credit card that's not used or have any activities on it will be closed by that bank. Remember, you pay them interest, right, on that credit card. So when there's no activities on that credit card, they're not getting any money.
Right.
So if they're not getting any money, what's the point of keeping that account open?
Right.
Right.
Now, he also said, he said, okay, now I better understand. So that
Okay.
you
Who's
definitely
that, Ryan?
answered, yeah, about
Okay,
that last
awesome.
one. Also Clarence is saying, do you erase things off your credit score, credit report?
Credit, yeah. So so we leverage a law that under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Clarence. So things that are derogatory, charge-off accounts, collections, closed accounts that's been delinquent, late payments. I mean, even student loans can be deleted depending on the status of that loan. So if that loan was sold to a third-party company, that loan can be deleted off and have been deleted off of our client's credit report. So whatever we remove or erase stays permanently deleted off of your credit. I hope that answers your question as well, Clarence.
Dang. And you said some, I ain't gonna lie, you said something just now that I learned from you also, which is the third party companies. Man, we can get on that. We can get on that next Sunday. I think that'll be a good topic to let these folk know. And I definitely want to give a shout out to all the contributions. This ain't that network. Appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you for that. Um, it's crazy, man. Like I'm telling y'all, before I learned anything, this man taught me what I know about credit, man. Like I owe it all to this man here, man. Cause he the one who taught me what it is, what to do, what not to do. And every Sunday we're gonna be getting together. And every Thursday we're gonna be doing testimonies. Every Sunday we're gonna be doing like Q&As like this, and also throughout the week, man. I'm gonna be dropping it on y'all. So like I said, we ain't want to take up too much of y'all time. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely hope y'all get the idea that you will learn credit, man. Like if you ain't learned nothing today, then I really don't know what to say, man. It's very simple. Just get yourself on the other side of the ball, man. Like you want to do your due diligence. You want to learn about credit so that you can move like a boss, man. You'll see the things these people do, man. You can do they put their pants on just like you do. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got a husband, wife, baby daddy, baby mama, significant other, whatever it is, man. One of y'all or both of y'all need to sit down, learn this stuff so y'all can better put y'allself and y'all family in a better position, man. I'm telling you, man, it's not as hard as people think. We're gonna take one more question, bro. And
Okay.
we'll this kind of an in general question. We'll take one more question and we'll make it shake. Splash Master 03. How long can it take me to get to a 720 from a 640? It's kind of broad, but I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
answer.
that's a great question. I mean,
Yeah.
it really depends. There's a lot of different moving factors in it. These all play a part in your credit. So if you're at 640 right now, I mean, we just got to take a look and see what's on your credit to really say this particular thing is going to happen without really knowing what's on your credit is pretty broad. But what I can say is that you want to make sure your payment history is good. You want to make sure that your utilization is below 30%. So if you have credit cards being a 640, you should. But if you have a credit card and let's say that you have 50%, 60% on that card utilization, bringing that down will definitely give you an increase. Now, because credit goes based on an algorithm, no one truly knows how much points you will get per an increase or so. But that would also add to getting your credit score increase because utilization is the most powerful way of building your credit. So I hope that answers your question as well. But if you're looking for more information, feel free to reach out to us, send us a text message, schedule an appointment. I mean, our goal is to help every single individual that's serious about fixing their credit, serious about their goals to be in position of obtaining those things, and where we're open Mondays through Fridays from 11 a.m. Eastern time to 9 p.m. Eastern time to be able to allocate to whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, helping every single family and individuals off on weekends. But, schedule an appointment by sending a text message ready to us, and, we'll look forward to speaking with you.
Definitely. The numbers on the bottom of this live. Make sure y'all share this live, man. Hopefully, man, this information does reaches someone that can better their situation. And it's just that simple. Once you find out about credit, like I say, use their money. They print money every day. Not credit. Y'all, I've done videos. Everything is going cashless. So you want to get in the front drop of that. Like, don't always be in the back. You know what I'm saying? So this is why we putting this information out. You get what I'm saying? And I like to appreciate you, man. Like I thank you for coming on. You know what I'm saying? Each and every Sunday we'll be getting
Absolutely.
together. and putting them
Absolutely.
nuggets out there.
Appreciate you
So yeah,
having me on
man.
here, man, and appreciate you consistently putting out this value and knowledge to our community, man. I greatly appreciate you for all that you're doing, and sky's the limit. So we look forward to the growth.
Definitely. Text ready 754-755-9774. They will shoot you a link. You can set your own schedule up. Go ahead, get in, get this stuff knocked off your credit, man. For that price, you can't beat thousands of dollars being taken off your credit. Like, stop letting them take advantage of that, man. Regain your empire. Start your empire. You know what I'm saying? And this is a good way to do it. So I just want to appreciate everybody on the live. Thank y'all for letting us take up your time. You know what I'm saying? And again, man, every Sunday we're going to be doing this. And hopefully, man, y'all learn something. Hopefully y'all can understand why we're doing this. And appreciate that. All the ones that shared this to people. I saw a few people saying they sent it to their son. They sent this. Thank y'all for that. So each and every Sunday, Real Credit Deal, Papa Duck, we will be on here going live. And hopefully y'all have a blessed Sunday. And we will definitely be getting with y'all. And again, appreciate y'all. We up out of here.
All right.